Throughout human history, alchemy has captivated the imagination, not merely as a quest to turn base metals into gold, but as an epic journey of profound inner transformation. Behind its mysterious symbols, vivid imagery, and intricate rituals lies a deeper secret. The alchemist's true goal is to transmute the raw elements of the self, fear, uncertainty, and conflict, into the refined essence of wisdom, clarity, and true mastery. Alchemy, in its highest form, reveals that the most valuable treasure exists not externally, but within. Across all cultures, in every epoch, myths speak of heroes and heroines who receive a subtle yet undeniable call, a whisper from the soul inviting them beyond the familiar into the unknown. This call is the universal experience of those seeking deeper understanding and purpose in life. It often manifests as a quiet dissatisfaction, a persistent yearning, or an inexplicable restlessness. If you've ever sensed a voice inside urging you towards a deeper exploration of who you truly are, you've felt the call to the alchemical journey. To achieve true self-mastery, one must inevitably face what psychologist Carl Jung identified as the shadow. These shadows consist of our fears, suppressed memories, hidden desires, and rejected aspects of our personalities. In alchemy, confronting this inner darkness is known as the Nigredo stage, the blackening, a necessary breakdown and confrontation. While the shadow can initially feel threatening, it ultimately offers profound insight and growth. True mastery arises not from battling these shadows, but from courageously exploring, understanding, and integrating them into our conscious awareness. Once embraced, our shadows undergo transformation. This stage, known as Albedo, the whitening, signifies purification and clarity. Here, the very traits we once viewed as weaknesses become vital strengths. Anxiety evolves into heightened sensitivity and perceptiveness. Fear becomes careful discernment and wise caution. Sorrow turns into empathy and emotional depth. The alchemical tradition teaches that our internal struggles contain the exact elements necessary for profound transformation, if we learn to perceive their hidden value clearly. Through patient and reflective work, these aspects of our character become the refined gold of genuine self-mastery. In classic mythology, heroes always return home, enriched by their journey, bearing newfound wisdom to uplift and inspire their communities. Likewise, when individuals achieve inner alchemy and self-mastery, there arises a natural impulse to share this profound wisdom and insight. The sharing of one's inner gold completes the transformative cycle, emphasizing that true alchemy is never a solitary pursuit. It thrives in the connection, growth, and empowerment it fosters among others. By imparting this wisdom, we not only enrich the lives of those around us, but also deepen our own mastery. Your own alchemical journey awaits. It begins with a single step, a conscious decision to listen deeply to the call within. Understand that your shadows are not your enemies, but vital guides illuminating the path to profound inner growth. Approach this journey with patience and courage, knowing each moment of struggle and insight brings you closer to self-mastery. Many spiritual traditions and thinkers have likened personal growth to an alchemical magnum opus, great work that unfolds in stages. Alchemists described phases such as Nigredo, blackening or dissolution, Albedo, whitening or purification, and Rubedo, reddening or illumination, to symbolize the journey from chaos to enlightenment. These stages can be seen as a psychological map, an initial dark night of the soul, a cleansing and insight, and finally a rebirth into a higher state of being. Modern personal development, too, often follows this archetypal pattern of breakdown, breakthrough, and integration. Manly P. Hall, a prolific teacher of esoteric traditions, emphasized that the true aim of alchemy was inner transformation. In his view, the ancient alchemists' language of turning lead into gold was a metaphor for elevating one's own lower nature into spiritual gold. Hall wrote that the true alchemy of the ancients was a spiritual process within the nature of man, wherein each individual becomes the alchemist of their own soul. The base metals to be transmuted are our base impulses, ignorance, and fears, and the resulting gold is the refined character and enlightened mind. This process aligns with alchemical stages. One must first dissolve negative habits and ego attachments, a nigredo of breaking down what no longer serves us, then purify and refine their attitudes, albedo, the dawning of insight and virtue, and finally integrate the new wisdom into life as a lasting change, rubedo, the gold of self-mastery. In a reflective script, Hall's insights encourage a calm, meditative envisioning of oneself working in an inner laboratory, gently releasing old, toxic thoughts into a crucible, purifying one's intentions, and crystallizing a wiser, golden version of the self. By seeing ourselves as the alchemist and the materia, we can patiently transform what no longer serves us into guidance toward wholeness, cultivating serenity and self-mastery step by step. The psychologist Carl Jung drew direct parallels between alchemical symbolism and the process of psychological growth. Jung spent years studying alchemical texts and asserted that their cryptic formulas actually describe a spiritual metaphor for the transmutation of human souls, a process of bringing the unconscious into consciousness on the path to wholeness. He adopted alchemy's stages to explain individuation, the journey toward one's true self. For example, Jung noted that personal therapy or deep inner work often begins with a Nigredo phase, an encounter with the shadow, or a period of chaos and despair. Jung would often refer to the beginning of analysis as the Nigredo, that is, dark at the beginning, seeing this disorientation as the necessary starting point of the great work. In this stage, one's old worldview decomposes and unconscious material surfaces, which can feel like a massa confusa, creative chaos and confusion. If one perseveres with awareness, the Nigredo gives way to insight and clarification, an Albedo stage analogous to a cleansing whitening of the psyche. Here, the individual assimilates new understanding, experiences forgiveness, or finds a fresh perspective, the washing of the soul in alchemical terms. Finally comes the Rubedo, the reddening stage of fruition, where the personality reintegrates and is reborn with a newfound sense of self. Jung noted that after the trials of darkness, the Albedo, white, and Rubedo, red, promise renewal, a transformation of what was base and leaden into light. In modern personal development, this means that confronting one's trauma or anxieties, however painful, can lead to a profound breakthrough and reintegration of the personality on a higher level. A meditative reflection inspired by Jung might calmly guide someone to accept the darkness they feel, acknowledging it as the fertile Nigredo rather than resisting it. Then visualize light emerging, perhaps imagining a dim inner cavern gradually illuminated by white light. And finally, see themselves whole and illuminated, like gold glowing in the heart, the Rubedo of individuation. Jung's work assures us that every inner conflict, when consciously faced, is the beginning of the work leading towards psychological rebirth. I invite you to follow along further as we explore this unconventional but extremely rewarding path towards self-improvement. Good luck on your journey, fellow seekers.